Okay, so, yes, I know, I am horrible. I am filming on my phone because, so I had a different video planned, but the problem is I can't find the game because it's in Senor Sylvia on Switch, and I'm not totally sure where his Switch is. And yesterday, we couldn't find it. Like, we have a general idea where it is, but yeah, I couldn't find it, so I couldn't do the video. But there is something else been wanting to talk about. So, you know what? It is the perfect time to go ahead and do that now, isn't it? So, something I wanted to talk about because, like, it was definitely talked a lot about when it was talked about a lot when it first came out. And we had to wait for all the updates and everything just because it felt like there were a lot of promises, and then it felt like we didn't necessarily receive everything we were hoping for. And that game is Animal Crossing New Horizons. So, honestly, like, I am a huge Animal Crossing fan. I love Animal Crossing. I've been playing it since elementary school. Wild World was actually my first one, not the one on the GameCube. Like, Wild World was my first one. So in some ways, I guess it's kind of good. I started out with what could be considered the like most boring and like having the least features and everything, because Wild World did not have any of the major holidays or anything. And you couldn't even fully upgrade your shop yourself. You had to have someone like shop at your Nook's Cranny in order to get Shampoodo and fully upgrade. I didn't have any friends who played Animal Crossing, so the fact that I still honed into it and really loved it, like, again, it was probably good then that I started with that one, because start with the worst and it was like, it can only get better from here. Because then, I got City Folk and I got the GameCube one and I loved them. So, it was only like, it can get better only from here. So, Animal Crossing New Horizons, we had been waiting for it for so long after New Leaf came out. New Leaf was great. We loved it. It was fun. It was fantastic, but we were ready for the next one. And there was a lot of things in New Horizons that is like, okay, this seems really good. We're adding a lot of stuff. And there was a lot of like, people weren't saying this has to be in the game, or they were thinking even it was going to be in the game, but a lot of people had hopes and things of what they wanted in the game for certain features, because like a lot of people were saying they wanted something like in City Folk, how you actually go to the city, because New Leaf kind of had it, but it wasn't quite the same, and I agree with that. I too also have always, I don't know why, and I know I've seen actually a lot of people say this, but I would love if there was like a theme park you could go to. Like, maybe it doesn't even have to be on like Disneyland level that big, but like a theme park or like a fair you could go to. Like, that'd be so cool. I would love something like that. And I never had the expectation that I was going to get it. I don't have the expectation I'm going to get something like that unless it was officially announced. Like, that's just something is like, if they did ever announce that was going to be in an Animal Crossing game, oh, I'd be so fucking happy. But, so there was a lot of things people were hoping to see, and when trailers dropped, it looked really interesting. I mean, the game looked great. Like, the character models were more interesting. There was all these clothes. You had new villagers. It was, this whole thing where it's like, hey, everything's super customizable, which in a game like Animal Crossing, that's what you kind of want a lot of, is customizable. And like, it did seem like good because, for one, you could finally put things outside besides just public works project. That was a huge thing, because you would buy these things in the shop and you'd be like, well, I kind of want this to go outside. Like, this would be really cool as an outside thing, but you could never do it in any of the previous Animal Crossing games. So everyone was really excited when that happened. So then the game comes out, and there were some things they did that kind of, I would say, because there was such big hype around it, they just wanted to prevent people from time skipping and going through it. So, because they have said, Nintendo, I believe, has released, like, yeah, technically it's not how you're supposed to play it, but Normally they don't stop you from it, but I think they just wanted it to be a surprise for everybody. So, you know, it like wasn't, people were skipping way ahead, but the holidays were not being added until it was around that time. Like Halloween didn't exist when Animal Crossing New Horizons first came out. If you time skip to October, there was going to be no Halloween event, like no special music, no items, no Jack. There was going to be nothing for it. You had to wait. I can't remember when it was released, but you had to wait until it got a lot closer to October before they released the holiday. And like the same thing with Christmas and all of that. So I don't necessarily blame them on that because one, I'm a person who never time skips anyway personally. And two, I can understand, you know, it's just such a big hyped game, kind of wanting to keep everyone on the same level and like page in that regard of you're not going to get spoilers. People aren't going to see things way before you, you know, because like no one's going to be able to upload, here's what Christmas time looks like in, you know, a week after the game comes out because they time skipped all the way to December and stuff like that. They wanted it to kind of be more like everyone is seeing it at the same time, which I don't think is a bad idea. Now, there are problems that a lot of people have complained about that I would agree that they have now kind of come to fix some of the problems, but the thing is, the game had been out for a while. Like, honestly, the game died pretty quick. Like, a lot of people would play it for a bit and then stop, and then as soon as a holiday came, they'd pick it up for the holiday to get the stuff and then put it down again. And I don't think Animal Crossing New Horizons has ever really picked up fully the resurgence. Like, when the big update came out, it picked up, but I'm honestly not sure if it fully picked up again, or has ever picked up to the level of any of the other Animal Crossing games. Because a lot of things, like, it felt like there was a lot missing in the game. Like, it's hard to describe, but it kind of felt like there were a lot of things that you could do in other games that it wasn't there. It felt empty. And for being on like this deserted island and you could visit other islands, it felt like there was supposed to be a lot, but it just felt kind of empty. And for instance, things like, okay, so you now have too much control, I feel, in a way, because your villagers, they will not move unless you talk to them. If you miss a day where like they're thinking about moving, they won't move. In old Animal Crossing games, they would just move out if they wanted to. But in this one, they won't move. And if you tell them, like if you don't catch them, they won't leave. And even if you don't catch them, then they'll just stay and keep waiting until the cycle resets again. And honestly, so a lot of the villagers, they've gotten kind of boring and the same. Like, they all, you know, the only way I can tell even like, oh, this is a different type of villager is one, you got the lazy villagers who just always talk about the snacks. But otherwise, it's mostly because their voice is different. But even then, so it's not their personality, but it's just very generic base level things that you're like, oh, okay, you're a different type of personality. But it doesn't feel, in a lot of ways, like they're real people. They now just feel more like decorations than actual NPCs to get to know on any level or be interesting. They're literally just, you want certain, like I have Raymond in my town. Everybody wants freaking Raymond. He's like one of the most popular. Like, it's now just decoration. And even if it's a villager you don't like, there's not any substance or at least even a tiny bit of enjoyment to having them. Because I will admit, I'm one of those people, if I don't think you're cute, I want you out of my village. But at least in like the old games and everything, they had more personality. So while they were there, it was still at least entertaining to interact with them. And like they would actually get mad at you and everything. Like, it made it more entertaining because now they're just kind of boring and like one-dimensional and don't really feel like they have much personalities. They're literally props to look pretty. That's all they are now. They don't have personality, which, I mean, that's been going downhill for a while. Like New Leaf, you know, it was the same issue. It's been that the villager personality has been going down for a while. Now, something that I really don't like, and I don't know if other people complain about it as much, but the crafting system in New Horizons for the tools, specifically the tools. Like, I think it's cool that there's, you know, some stuff, oh, you can only make it with the crafting. Like, that's cool. But the tools and the fact that you can't really get unbreakable tools is extremely annoying, because when you're doing dailies and stuff, it's like, no, I don't know. I just think it's not Breath of the Wild. It's not supposed to be Breath of the Wild of how, like, your weapon breaks. And I honestly kind of think your weapons maybe break a little too much in that game too, but that's a different story. But, like, having your tools constantly break in a game like Animal Crossing, it's more of an extreme annoyance than a fun little thing. It's like, oh my god, my shovel broke again. Now I gotta go. And usually I end up just buying a shovel. I don't even craft it. I just go buy one from the store when it became available. So I'm not even using that crafting feature that they want. And okay, so also, while I like the terraforming and everything, it is really cool. I feel like in Animal Crossing, I liked better how in Animal Crossing with, like, the landscape and everything, like, a lot of it was, you know, you just get what you get. In other games more so than, because New Leaf started to add the projects. So, because I like the fact you could put items outside, but the terraforming and everything, yes, it's cool, but I feel like Animal Crossing was more built on you have the different islands you can select from, you get what you get. Because again, you have different islands you can select from, but in some ways, there's not really much point, because you're like, oh, okay, I can make it work until I can terraform. That's fine. And then I can just completely reshape the whole island to however I want it to be, essentially. And it feels like it kind of takes away some of that, because it's like, is this Minecraft or Animal Crossing? Like, I feel like terraforming, Animal Crossing was not the game to put in that extreme level of terraforming and everything. Like, maybe they could have done some more kind of minute things, because again, being able to put items outside is really cool. I absolutely love that feature. That is okay. But the fact that you can completely reshape your entire island, make it completely different than what you started with, it just feels like it kind of misses some of that old Animal Crossing spirit and, like, the point of Animal Crossing, you know? And it's like, what's the point then of picking out from different islands, because you can just completely change the structure? Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. The only thing stopping you is you have to get to the point of terraforming. But once you get to that point, there's nothing stopping you. Go crazy. Go for it. So that's just personally something I don't like. And another big thing that a lot of people were complaining about is a lot of characters, one, were missing, or two, like, so Nook's shop, it doesn't upgrade anymore. It upgrades a little bit, but it does not get anywhere near to the upgrading level that it used to in old games. Like, it's boring like that. It doesn't exist. And Shampoodle, for instance, Shampoodle's is not there because you can just go and change your hair in the mirror. Which, okay, cool. Like, I guess that's kind of cool, but in some ways, I liked more having to go specifically to her shop and pay and get the haircut, changing color, and just having it be more randomized. Because a lot of Animal Crossing, it felt like it was more exciting in that things weren't necessarily always 100% your choice. You know, there was a lot of, okay, this is what I got, this is what I have to work with. It made it more fun, at least to me in that way. And then when you're missing all these characters, like, it took them forever to add Brewster. You didn't have the coffee shop. Like, why did they decide to keep Brewster away for so long? And the fact that going to islands is literally just to collect some extra materials. There's no, you know, how New Leaf had that little, like, main street. Of course, City Folk had the city. Like, those newer Animal Crossing started the trend of having this little place to go for, like, these unique shops to get cool stuff and everything. New Horizons completely got rid of that, and honestly, that's like, it's stupid to me because it was a really cool feature. Everybody loved it. No one was complaining about it. So why'd you get rid of it? Like, it was cool. Everyone liked, people wanted more of an expansion of that, like closer to city folk even. But instead of doing that, they just completely got rid of it, which nobody at all wanted that. So you done messed up there, Nintendo. But honestly, so they've had the big update now where they've released Brewster. They have now paid DLC, which is like Happy Home Designer. I don't have the paid DLC, so I can't speak on that. And there was cool features added with the update, but I've noticed I don't play it near as consistently as I did the old ones now. And like every now and again I'll pick it up, but I've never stayed at that consistency because in some ways it's almost not even worth it because it's like, well, my island's not going to have changed. I'm not going to have villagers randomly move in or out. Like, there's no urgency even for that because it's not going to happen if you're not there to control it. So I have no urgency to be like, oh my god, I don't want this villager to move out. I need to check and make sure so they haven't moved out. Like, it's just kind of boring and lame like that in that regard. So honestly, while I love new Animal Crossing New Horizons, there are, I feel, a lot of those issues that for the next Animal Crossing game, they're gonna have to be careful because if they make it too bare bones and everything like New Horizons, they're gonna kind of kill Animal Crossing as a whole, because there's definitely some steps forwards, but I feel like there was a lot more steps backwards, which is really not a good thing, and you don't want to lose your interest in such a big name like Animal Crossing. But anyway, go ahead and leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. You don't have to, but it helps let me know what y'all are enjoying watching. Go ahead and leave down in the comments below your thoughts on New Horizons, what your favorite villager is, favorite Animal Crossing game, any of that. Just go for it. If you want to see more videos like this, I upload every Monday and Friday. Is like video game, nerdy discussion, review stuff, whatever you want to classify it as. Or you can hit that subscribe button to just get notified whenever I upload. If you want to see some streaming gameplay, my Twitch is linked down below. I stream every Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also have Twitter, Discord, a vlog channel, Instagram. All that is linked down below, so go check it out if you want. You can go to my Instagram and just get spammed with my dog all the time, because she's all I put on there. But anyway, that's going to be it, and I will see you all next time.